What is going on? How are the peeps out there in gunfighter land? Oh, it's day off from the gunfighting gig, and it was a long week, and it was a long week on Tuesday. It's Wednesday now. I got a good night's sleep, and didn't get to really sleep in late, but didn't have to be up at the crack of dawn. So I feel good. Got a good workout in. Got the oil changed in the car, and I figured I would record an episode for you guys on modern practical bolt guns. The question got asked in the chat, and I know not everybody here is in the chat, but about the Mossberg MVP. They make an MVP and an MVP Scout. They make it in 223. They make it in 223, 556. They make it in 300 Blackout. At least they did at some point. And they make it in 308. Pretty cool. Takes box magazines. It has iron sights, which is a scarcity in today's world. And there are other guns like it, other guns adjacent. You know that I like the Ruger Scout rifle. I think these are very practical type rifles. The Ruger Scout rifle, the Savage Scout rifle, not so much the Magpul Scout, and I love Magpul, but I don't like the Magpul Savage Scout, just a regular old Savage Scout. And the let's throw in like the Sig Cross would go into this one, the Steyr Scout rifle, the Savage Hog Hunter, which I'm a big fan of that gun. All these would go in like the modern practical bolt guns. I think they're good. I think they're practical. I think they make a good truck gun. I think they make a good hunting gun. I think they make a good practical gun. Here's the thing. Not a fighting rifle. Can you fight with it? For sure, you can fight with it. I can fight with a golf club. That doesn't make it a sword. I don't care how good you are with a golf club. I don't care if you get hole-in-ones every day, all day. That's just, it doesn't matter. It's not a sword. If I said you are going to get in a fight to the death today, you have to step in the arena, Mad Max style, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. You can have a golf club or you can have a sword. I don't care how comfortable you are with the golf club. You're probably not taking the golf club. You're probably taking the sword. It's a weapon of war. It's a fighting tool. Likewise, these. Can you fight with them? Yeah, they're not a fighting rifle. They're not keeping up with an AR-15. They're not keeping up with an AR-10. They're not keeping up with a Mini-14. They're just not. They're at bolt action. And so there's that. You can fight with them. Just like I could use that same door frame, or I could use that same golf club to frame a door. I could pound the nails in with a golf club if I hit it hard enough. It's not a framing hammer. You can get the job done, not a framing hammer. To stay on the carpentry vernacular, right? I could put trim in a room if I was really careful using 10-penny nails. But 10-penny nails are not finishing nails. I'm not saying you can't get it done. I'm saying it's a severe handicap. You do it much faster, much better with finishing nails than you would with 10-penny nails if you're trying to do finishing work. It is what it is, right? So I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying it isn't what it is, so don't pretend that's what it is. If you stick with like the 308 bolt gun, can you fight with it? Yeah, but it's not going to keep up with even what I would consider an antiquated M1A, M14. It's not that. That is perhaps a bit dated and I would say obsolescent, but it's still a fighting rifle. It was meant as a fighting rifle. These are some quasi in between. And they are a good practical rifle. They are a good truck gun. They are a good, out in the backcountry bush gun. They are a good 308 bolt gun is a fantastic, one of the best hunting rifles for all around hunting in North America. They're good for that. So they are that. So that, again, I'm for it. They're a good practical gun. They're not a fighting rifle, but that not every rifle has to be a fighting rifle, right? I have plenty of bolt action guns. They are good for that. Some thoughts on this. My standard go-to would be the 308. It's the best crossover round. will be a good choice in this. If you now with a bolt gun, you're getting rid of the fast follow-up shots. You can run a bolt fast, but I can't, run the bolt so fast that I could shoot a 5.56 faster than a 308. Now with a semi-auto, obviously I could shoot a 5.56 in a similar weighted configured gun much faster. But in a bolt gun, by the time I've run the bolt, I should be able to get back on target anyway. So that's kind of a moot point. So you lose that big advantage, your shot recovery time. What you don't lose is the size and weight of ammo. So if you still want to carry more ammo or you want the affordability of shooting, that's probably the biggest one. Because if you're talking about a practical gun, if you're mostly going to be shooting it for recreation and as a varmint gun, coyotes, fox, things like that, and you may take a deer, the 5.56 is okay for that, and you're going to be able to shoot it much more affordably. So if you want a fun gun that you're just going to go out and shoot more, there's that advantage, and it's going to be more affordable, and the magazines are going to be more affordable and lightweight. So if this is going to be your truck gun and something bad happens, you're carrying probably literally twice the amount of ammo for the same weight. That advantage is still there and still real. Now, it may take more rounds, so you got to decide on that. The other intriguing option, if we're talking about the MVP, is the 300 Blackout. The 300 Blackout is cool for it's perhaps the only niche I see it in would be like an urban escape and evasion rifle. You get the smaller ammo. It's not actually going to be a lot lighter than 308 because some of these bullets are similar weight. They're 30 caliber. And the powder is not what weighs. The brass case weighs a little bit less, but not a lot less. You're talking round per round. It's not the weight advantage that the 5.56 is versus the 308. Because again, the heavy part of the projectile is the bullet. And the bullets are similar weight, or in some cases even much heavier than your typical 308 and the 300 Blackout. But for a light recoiling, like urban escape and evasion kind of rifle, where you get more flexibility, which, to be fair to the 300 Blackout, it does offer that, right? You can go down to 110 grain up to a 220 grain. So, and you don't have to worry about the gun cycling or anything. It's it is what it is. So there is that. That's kind of cool. That, I'm only going to touch on it briefly, that I like the Ruger Scout Rifle. Out of all the Scout Rifles, I picked it because it's a controlled round feed. You may think that like a bolt action is more reliable than an AR or another semi-auto, but it's I doubt it. Especially a push feed, as like the gold standard, like a Remington 700, right? The bolts can literally snap off if you run them hard enough. Like literally, the bolt handle will snap off of the gun. The extractors also break. That's a common thing. They are also not drop safe for Remington 700. You can drop it and it can go off. So that's a real thing. So to say they're more reliable than an AR-15, I don't think is true. The amount of rounds, I guess you could go to a training class and shoot 2,000 rounds a week, 1,800 rounds a week of 5.56 in a AR platform. Most people will never run that out of their bolt gun. So I think that kind of skews is they're like, oh, it's reliable. I've been to the range 10 times and it hasn't malfunctioned when they go to the range and shoot 10 rounds through it. Okay. Like if you're talking about your typical bolt action hunting rifle, you may shoot 10 rounds a year. In a decade, that's 100 rounds. I might go through that in a warm-up on some semi-auto guns. So that it's not the same, and I don't think they're more reliable until you go to controlled round feed. I absolutely think a good controlled round feed, like the Winchester Model 70 or the Ruger, are some of the most reliable, repeatable firearms on the planet. So, but if it's just push feed versus push feed, I don't think they're more reliable. That's one reason I like the Ruger, that and it's stainless. Now, the Savages, especially the Hog Hunter, I really like that gun. I don't own one. They don't make it in stainless, but it's a really cool gun. It has iron sights, which is a hard thing to get nowadays. And if it's like any other Savage centerfire bolt gun I've ever run, crazy accurate. So there's that. The Savage Hog Hunter. It's a pretty cool gun. I think it flies under the radar. I think most people think they need a 1,000-yard heavy abomination bench rest gun, which I think is less practical. I think the Savage Hog Hunter is a good option. Another one that intrigues me, I've heard really good things about the CVA. And the CVA makes, I forget what they call their Scout-ish practical style rifle with iron sights. It's like some letters and some numbers that don't really make sense to me as far as what it is. But they make one as well in that similar price point. And that also may be one worth looking at. I've never owned a CVA traditional, or I've never owned a like smokeless powder modern bolt action CVA. I've heard good things. And they've been on the market for a while, so they're probably pretty decent. Anyway, something else to consider on the practical bolt guns. I think they are very practical for what most people have, for like a truck gun, for the occasional thing you may have to take care of with a bolt gun, and for a decent hunting gun. Anyway, with that, I appreciate all that you do. Your tactical verse of the day: you shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at my side, 10,000 at my right hand, but it shall not come near me. Thanks. Have a blessed day.